Violent encounters rarely ever announce their arrival. They tend to emerge from the background noise of a normal Tuesday or a holiday weekend, hiding behind the mundane decisions of a typical day. For a 19-year-old in 1985, the danger started with a simple trip to the hotel parking lot to grab a camera. For a delivery driver in Ohio, it was the decision to take one last order right before the shop closed at 1 a.m. In New York, it was two friends pulling off a dark highway because a passenger couldn't wait for a rest stop. In Lebanon, it was a young man deciding to spend a solitary night at a remote family lake house, hoping for a bit of quiet. None of these choices were inherently reckless. They were the practical, small-scale movements of everyday life, the initial movements that quietly pull the lever on a trap. There is a specific threshold where safety dissolves. It usually happens when a person crosses an invisible border, unintentionally severing their connection to the people and systems that protect them. When that teenager stepped into the elevator, he traded a crowded rooftop for a metal box. When the delivery driver turned onto a sparsely populated rural back road, he left the reach of city lights and passing traffic. The road trippers pushed further into the remote woods for the sake of a convenience store, while the lone swimmer stripped off his clothes to enter the water, leaving himself without even the basic protection of a pocket or a key. By the time these subjects realized they were alone, they had already cut the last physical and social lifelines. They had created the perfect environment for a predator to emerge. Before a trap springs, the environment usually provides a series of subtle, unsettling clues, details that suggest the world has stopped working correctly. In the elevator, it was a sudden, violent shudder. The car ground to a halt, the outside world went silent, and the lights cut out, leaving the teenager in total darkness halfway between floors. For the driver, the warning was a GPS lead that ended at a boarded-up house. The only sign of life was a single flickering light coming from a shed in the back, far from the main road. Inside the 7-Eleven, the anomaly was a physical sensation, a sudden crawling heat on the back of the neck that signaled a pair of eyes watching from the shadows of a nearby aisle. At the lake, the violation was undeniable. The swimmer stepped out of the water to find his clothes and his towel gone, leaving him standing naked and exposed in the middle of the woods. We often try to force these moments back into the realm of the ordinary. We tell ourselves it's a mechanical glitch or a simple prank, ignoring the gut feeling that tells us to run until the exit is finally blocked.
When the trap finally closes, the threat reveals its nature. It is either the terrifying reality of human malice or something that defies physical explanation. Paralyzed in the elevator, the teenager watched the emergency lights flicker to reveal a dark figure crouching in the corner, staring back at him with an unnerving, fixed smile. In Ohio, the threat was human. A voice whispered 4444 from the darkness before three men in white masks and long robes charged from the shed, wielding knives and ropes. At the 7-Eleven, the woods themselves seemed to exhale. A man with glassy eyes peeked from behind a tree, while three bulky, cloaked figures took up positions around the parking lot, blocking the path out. As the camper fled in his car, he nearly hit a man collapsed in the road. When he stopped to help, he saw the man was wearing his stolen clothes, and the stranger grabbed his hand with a wide, fixed grin. In the elevator, the entity began to count. As the crowds on the roof celebrated New Year's Eve, the figure held up its fingers in time with the muffled countdown, creeping closer with every passing second. Whether the attacker is a cultist with a knife or a shadow in an elevator, the result is the same: the total loss of agency in a place where no one can hear you. Escape is often a matter of raw, pure adrenaline, a driver hitting 90 miles per hour on a back road, or lunging into a car to leave the cloaked figures behind in the rearview mirror. The teenager in the elevator had no such release. He remained trapped in the dark, pinned down by a heavy weight on his chest, until the figure simply vanished, leaving him alone in the silence. But an hour later, the police reports changed everything. While the teenager was paralyzed in that elevator, a man with a machete had climbed onto the rooftop bar, killing 4 people during the very countdown the entity was mirroring. It's a chilling irony. The entity that held him in a state of terror also kept him in the only part of the hotel the killer couldn't reach. The nightmare in the elevator was the only thing that kept him off the roof. The immediate danger eventually passes, but the experience leaves a permanent mark on the way a person perceives the world. Police found torture equipment in the shed, but the masked men were never caught. The figures at the 7-Eleven were never identified. The man in the stolen clothes was never seen again. A person can return to their daily life, but they can't unsee the face in the corner of the elevator or forget the sound of a voice whispering from the bushes. The ultimate horror isn't the encounter itself, but the lack of an ending. You survive the trap, but you spend the rest of your life wondering if you're still inside it.